Welcome to Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9. My name is Todd DiClemente, and I'm going to be along with you throughout this broadcast today. We got a couple of interesting dynamics out here. Seems like we've got interesting dynamics in every park we travel to, but this one maybe more than most, as we're going to be operating from ground level. We're actually at the field level, doing the best we can. With the friendly confines here at Duval Charter. We are spending our time in a kind of in between the field and the track. It's an interesting little setup, but we are making it work as best we can. So we'll take good care of you today. If you are listening live to this broadcast, this is St. Joseph Academy against Duval Charter. From Jacksonville, Florida. The Flashes are wearing black pants and white jerseys. Duval Charter is actually in white pants and black jerseys. So with this field view, it's going to be a little tough for you to stay with me, but I'm going to do my best to describe everything I can for you as we go. I'm set up here around the 15-yard line, so I don't have a great vantage point, but we're going to keep special eye on the sticks and give you all the information we can. Flashes are coming off a big victory last week. They had a fantastic win over Cedar Creek Christian, 42-6. This opening kickoff is going to go to Raymond Evans. Evans has got a nice return. He comes around the outside. He's across the 40 and now the 50. Cuts it back at the 40. He's working his way through traffic. He's going to be tackled around the 40-yard line. What a great return, and this puts the Flashes in a really nice position to start their very first drive. We're excited to see this offense continue to progress. We go back to the very first game of the season. We didn't know for sure what this Flashes offense was going to be capable of. They had a great performance in the opener. You go up against Cedar Creek Christian, and you have another great performance. They put 42 points on the board, including the Times Union Player of the Week in Jeremiah Kess. He had a great showing, 6 catches, 198 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Here we are. Jack Fox is going to take this ball straight up the middle. We're kind of keeping an eye on the sticks here. I think he's going to pick up about 5 yards on the play. We're going to be joined here intermittently by my normal co-host. His name is Brian Ott. He's with us every single week. But today, as always, he's kind of pulling a little bit of double duty. He's doing the stats. And where we are set up, which, again, is kind of near the end zone on the sideline, actually along with the players. We're in that general area. We're doing the best we can. So you don't have much of an angle from the bleachers, Brian. So now you're going to come over here and join me here as we get inside the 40-yard line. First of all, welcome. Thanks for making the drive up here to Jacksonville. Great to have you. Great kickoff return there for the Flashes. Ray Evans puts them in plus territory to start this opening drive. What are you expecting to see out of the Flashes tonight? What do you know about Duval Charter?
Well, I expect good things from the Flashes. This is a team that we beat 48-0 last year, but it's not a team we should take lightly. You may have mentioned already that we've already seen at least 2 Jaguars, former Jaguars here, including their head coach.
Their head coach is Aaron Beasley, former third-round pick of the Jags, going back to 1996. And then one of my favorite Jaguars of all time is on the sideline, hard-hitting safety Donovan Darius. That's really exciting.
They got a lot of big players. They got a lot of athletes. We were watching them warm up, and their quarterback can throw it all over the field. They've got some guys who are long and have good hands. But I think this game is going to be won at the line of scrimmage with the Flashes' small line.
Big throw here. Ray Evans into the corner. Touchdown, Flashes. Cody Ott with a fantastic throw, drops it into Evans in stride inside the 10-yard line, and he goes into the end zone for the first score of the night.
That was a fantastic start for the Flashes, from the kickoff to Jack Fox's 5-yard gain to a beautiful pass from Cody to Ray Evans. And we're seeing Ray and Jeremiah come off together. What a great 1-2 combo of receiving threats that we have. And we've got more behind them, but 2 seniors have really put up some numbers this year.
Cody Ott with a perfect throw. Adrian Hemelt readies for the point after attempt. Good snap, good hold, and the kick is good as well. The Flashes go up 7-0. A kickoff return and 1 offensive play, and the Flashes have a touchdown lead.
And Adrian's been practically automatic this season. We've got some some neat things that I'll share with you over the course of the game, or at least the beginning of the game. But one of them is Adrian is number 5 in the state in extra points made. And so that's not only a compliment to Adrian and his accuracy, but to the offensive prowess of the Flashes, the job that Coach Cash and the rest of the coaching staff has done to be able to put up enough touchdowns where your kicker can be number 5. And that's not just with schools our size, that's in the state. Every high school football team in the state.
Love it. For those of you that are turning in live on WSOS, actually, for those of you turning in kind of on recording, our friends with WSOS 103.9 are actually... I'm not sure what was just happening here. Okay. We're just getting a little bit of insight from the special teams coordinator here for the Flashes. But for those of you that are listening to this game on WSOS 103.9, this game is actually being played at 4:30 in the afternoon out here at Duval Charter. They don't have lights on their field, and so this is when we're able to play. I say that both to say, hey, you're listening to a rebroadcast of the Flashes Digital Network and Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9. But I also say it so that I can say this. For those of you that are turning in live to the Flashes Digital Network, watching this game on YouTube, I didn't reset the score from the last game when I started what we call the score bug. And so it appears that it was 42-6 as this game began. It was, in fact, 0-0 when the game started. It is now 7-0. That has been updated. You know, we offer this caveat every game. I am running the camera. I am holding an umbrella right now, trying to keep all of the equipment cool, also running the computer and trying to provide you with a little bit of play-by-play, while also getting talked to by the special teams coordinator. This is a fun job, and I absolutely love it. We got a flag on the first offensive play for the Panthers. The Duval Charter Panthers were here in Jacksonville, Florida, off of Bay Meadows. Beautiful turf field here out at the school. It's a neat little spot. We don't know their team well. There wasn't a lot of research available. Max Preps didn't really have much, didn't even have a roster, but I got a roster from a coach before we got here today, so that was helpful. But so far, watching warm-ups, they have a lot of skill players.
They do. I think the offensive line and the defensive line were inside when all those skill guys were warming up, so we were wondering if it was a whole team full of skill players. What the special teams coach were signaling into us before the game is the intention to kick the ball out of bounds so that these dangerous return guys with so many athletes on the team don't get a chance to make a big play. We saw that last week in the victory.
Yeah, and we've had questions about that. Nobody's really been willing to share, but today we got that insight because we're standing pretty close to the sideline here. It's a run for number 5. There is a flag down on the play, and it appears that this one is going to be coming back. That running back is Alex Voorhees. He had a nice run around the right side. Aaron Beasley, former Jacksonville Jaguar defensive back. He was a corner. I was actually there at the very first training camp when Aaron reported out there at what was then Alltel Stadium. So I actually got a chance to meet Aaron. He's not going to remember the young college kid that he met back in 1996, but I, of course, know and remember him.
So twice now the Panthers offense has run around the right side. First time was a nice gain, and then added on to it was a penalty by the Flashes. This time it was a nice gain, but it's coming back because of a hold, and that may explain why they had such an easy route to the outside. Jameer Stewart was in on both tackles for the Flashes.
So after the penalty, ball has been backed up considerably here. It's going to be 1st down and 20 on the hold. Your quarterback is Jeremy Darius, presumably Donovan Darius' son. Man goes in motion, high snap, handoff. Flashes are in the defensive backfield and are able to bring him down. I see a 6 on the jersey on the man who was first there to make the tackle. And I also see number 24 getting up off the bottom of that pile. So I believe that's going to be Max Grimes.
I think Dominic Puntillo was in there as well.
There you go. And Asher Glisson was in on that play as well.
Asher had 9 tackles last week to lead the team. Sophomore for Asher, leads the team for the season with 17 tackles in 2 games. I told Asher pregame that I hoped that he was going to have a similar game tonight as he did last week, and he said, I'm getting double digits tonight. He's got 2 assists already.
Number 3, Messiah Frazier checks in. He is in the backfield along with Darius and Voorhees. Darius takes the snap, looks left. He's under a little bit of pressure, fires this one out to the right. He's got a man wide open. That is going to be complete to Messiah Dillard. Dillard's going to be taken out of bounds. It's going to be 3rd down. From our vantage point, it's hard to see how big a gain it was. It appears that he picked up around 5 yards. I think we're looking at a 3rd down and around 15.
Well, they had 20 to go off of first, so they still had a lot of yardage to go. Eddie Petracco, who established himself with some big plays on the defense last week, a sure-handed tackler, was the first guy there, and Jack Fox dropped down from the end or outside linebacker position. That's the second tackle for Jack. One of the themes for the defense so far this season, Todd, has been gang tackling, and we're seeing that in the early minutes of today's game, and that in a day when it's hot and when we're playing on turf and the turf is hot. Like, I took off my flip-flops a few minutes ago and I had to put them back on because it's so hot. When the load is lightened by many hands, that's going to make a difference as the game goes on.
Yeah, and we've got heat coming off this track and off this field. This really is Carlos Santana smooth hot.
The quarterback can sling it.
He can indeed. This is going to be a handoff to Voorhees. Voorhees does not have much room at all. Number 64 is going to make that tackle for the Flashes. That's Ricardo Fernandez, and that's going to bring up a 4th down and decision time for Aaron Beasley.
Yeah, and I think that was more of a slip than a tackle. Dominic Pontillo was in the backfield and made him cut maybe earlier than he wanted to. I think the running back wanted to take it outside. Ricky was there to meet him, but he was already going down when Ricky met him. So great penetration by Dominic. That's the second time that he's been in on a tackle. And it looks like we've got a punter.
Well, Darius is standing about 12 yards off the ball, but he's also the quarterback. He's currently counting his teammates, which is a typical move for a punter. He actually just signaled over to the sideline that there were only 10 men on the field, so they bring one additional player out there. We've got 2 guys named Messiah on the team. One of them just checked in. That was Messiah Frazier. Gets off a decent punt here. Ray Edwards is going to come forward. Now he's going to field it. Evades the first tackler, and he's going to try to reverse field. He's going to try to head around the left side. Now cuts it back up the middle. He's heading up the hash there. Decent return. Flashes are going to have okay field position. Nothing like the first drive when they actually started in plus territory around the 40-yard line. That ultimately led to a big Flashes touchdown, but the defense holds up. They've actually yet to give up a point this season. Well, actually, let me rephrase. I wish Brian was along with us. So Brian, who, as I mentioned, is pulling double duty. He's trying to keep stats for the team. He actually just ran down to the far side of the field so he can keep the offensive stats and have a better sense of how many yards guys are gaining. It's a little tough from the vantage point we have. We're set up down here around the 15-yard line and just off the side. As a matter of fact, both teams are going to head to the sidelines for an injury timeout. So we're going to take a quick timeout as well. We'll be right back on the Flashes Digital Network. Flashes are back out on the field. Welcome back to our broadcast here on the Flashes Digital Network, which is also going to be playing a little bit later on this evening. Or, in fact, if you're listening to this now on WSOS 103.9, it's happening for you right now, even though it already happened. Cody Ott takes the snap, fakes the handoff to the left, rolls right, looking for some room. He's going to run it, dives forward. A decent pickup there. Looks like he got out to around the 45-yard line. I'm trying to watch the yard markers here to see how much of a gain he actually collected there. It looks like he gained 7 yards, so it's going to be 2nd down and 3. This is normally where my co-host, Brian, would insert some thoughts about the run that Cody just had. I don't have those thoughts at the moment. In actuality, I needed just a second to make an adjustment here on our computer. Now we are back. Cody Ott has 3 wide receivers in the formation, but he's going to hand this one off to Jack Fox, who goes straight up the middle, evades a tackler, and now he's in the open field. He gets all the way down to the 20-yard line before he is dragged down by a safety who was able to bring him down, but the Flashes are going to gain what appears to be 35 or 40 yards on that run. An excellent pickup by Jack Fox. He has been the workhorse back for the Flashes, and that is another fantastic gain.
Jack Fox seemed to be the only player who was mildly disappointed last week. He had a 100-yard game in his first game, only had a couple of rushing official carries last game, and I think he was disappointed that he didn't get more just because he knows he can help the team.
Well, he just got another one, and unfortunately he is met in the backfield, and he's going to be brought down for a loss. We were at the 20-yard line, and this ball is going to be spotted back around the 23, so that is going to bring up a 2nd down and 13. Actually, they've moved it forward a yard, 2nd and 12.
Yeah, pretty favorable spot. I thought he was brought down maybe closer to the 24. Maybe they gave him some forward progress there.
Well, I think that's fair. Again, we don't have a great angle today, though. We're down on the field. We're on the sideline. As a matter of fact, if I reach my hand out to the left, I am relatively close to the line at which the very last player and coach is allowed to stand. Cody Ott looks my way. Doesn't throw me the ball, but he does throw this one down the field to Jeremiah Kess. Oh, what a fantastic defensive play. That one is going to be knocked away and will fall incomplete. That was Messiah Frazier in coverage, and he does a really nice job of knocking that one down while leaping for the football.
Yeah, Cody threw that ball under pressure, had to step up in the pocket to evade the rush. A little bit of a wobble on the ball. I think with a tight spiral, Jeremiah was actually behind his guy running a corner route. They were showing man coverage early on, and I thought we might be able to take a shot here, but that safety who lined up in the middle of the field crept wide. I think everybody and their mother knows what a threat Jeremiah Kess is right now. Looks like we're in a water break, Todd. Are we going to stay on air?
Yeah, we're gonna stay right along with you. And actually, this is a great opportunity to share another dynamic here. There's no scoreboard at this park, so I actually don't know the game clock time. I feel very fortunate that we're going to be keeping the score here on the computer, so everybody who's looking at the screen is going to be able to pick up the score itself and what quarter it is. But unfortunately, rule number 1, training module number 1 for sports broadcasters is repeat time and score as often as you can. I do not know the time. I just know that we are early in the first quarter, maybe heading towards midway through the first quarter, given the water break that we just experienced. Cody Ott has 3 wide receivers. One of them comes in motion, but it is a double reverse. Calvin Schilling has got the ball in his hands, sprinting down the left side. He will go into the end zone for a touchdown. Calvin Schilling on the ground with the reverse, touchdown Flashes.
So one of the ways that you can take away an aggressive defense aggressiveness is with reverses, and that was a great play design there. Perfect execution by the Flashes. Great job by the line. We don't sing the praises of the offensive line enough, but we've really gotten some terrific blocking in the first few games, and the Flashes find them up 2 scores early.
14 points on the board for the Flashes, and I say 14 even though Adrian Hemelt is about to kick the football, but he's been pretty automatic. And that is called the announcer's curse. I'm going to apologize both to Adrian and to his family. He just put one off the right upright, and only 13 points are going to go on the board. Very thankful as well to the spectator who heard the whole exchange and gave me a wink and a little click. I deserved that one. My apologies to my good friend, Mr. Hemelt, who was not able to complete the extra point. But the Flashes are up 13-0 midway through the first quarter.
And I'll take some credit for that as well. After Adrian made his last extra point, and I talked about his state ranking and how he was automatic. We did the double jinx there, and apologies to Adrian from me as well.
But a negative times a negative equals a positive, so the two of them actually should have canceled each other out, but unfortunately they didn't. And again, games aren't played inside these statistics. They are played out on the field. And this field is incredibly hot. It is a turf field. It is emanating heat. And the more I think about a turf field at St. Joe, because I've had some conversations with people over the years who've wanted one, I think I like the grass a little bit better. Flashes kick this one straight out of bounds. Again, it goes out of bounds around the 20-yard line. Flags fly. This ball will come out to the 40-yard line, and that's where the Panthers will take over for their second offensive drive of the afternoon.
And again, that out-of-bounds kick is by design. We saw it happen throughout the game last week, and when you see people giving fist bumps and high fives to the kicker when he kicks it out of bounds, then you think that maybe something is up there.
Ball has been set. Both teams are along the sideline. And actually, I'm going to correct myself here. In the pros, the ball goes out to the 40. Here in high school, it's being set at the 35.
Yeah, and if you're worried about a dangerous return game, it's a safe play. Or if you're worried about your kick coverage, and I don't know that we have any reason for that. The Flash's defense has been very stingy all season. They've given up 6 points all season long.
Two wide receivers in the formation, an H-back. Tailback is along with Darius. Darius going to throw this one out into the flat. That one is going to be caught and complete. That is, again, number 3, Messiah Frazier. He has been the go-to target for Jeremiah Darius.
Ray Evans was in position to make a tackle. The receiver went down immediately after catching it. Just a little bit of cloud cover, giving us a moment of relief. But, boy, there's not a lot up there, Todd.
There's not, but it is a beautiful afternoon. This really is a great complex. This is my first visit to Duval Charter. I know you were here last year for this game. I was actually unable to make the trip, and in part we weren't able to broadcast this game because of its time. But this year we've been able to make some adjustments both to things at school, which enabled me to be here, and likewise we've been able to work with the studio in order to make this game happen. High snap, good pressure there for the Flashes. This one is going to be complete again to Messiah Frazier, and he breaks a tackle at the 50-yard line. Now he is sprinting down the sideline. Nobody is going to come close. The defense was on it. They couldn't bring him down, and the Panthers put 6 points on the board.
You know, Jeremiah Kess was there hanging on for dear life around an ankle. Thought he was going to make the tackle on the initial hit for a short gain. There was a second and possibly a third defender who came in to help out, but just didn't take very good angles, and they ran themselves out of the play. So that when the receiver broke the tackle, there was nobody left.
You know, and this is one of those cases where you got a player who's wrapped up. They kind of have him by the ankles. He's held up, and you don't want any sort of unsportsmanlike conduct penalty by making some sort of big hit where a guy's hitting him low and hitting him high. I don't know if there was hesitation, but ultimately he was able to escape the grasp of the corner, and then he sprints all the way down the sideline for what I believe is going to amount in the books to a 65-yard touchdown. Looks like there was a timeout before the point after attempt, so both teams are going to head to their respective sidelines to talk it over. We'll be back in just a moment. We are back as the Panthers prepare for the point after attempt. He takes the snap, fakes the handoff, rolls right, throws this one, and that is going to be broken up. A Flashes defender, I believe that is going to be Titler, dives in the way of that pass, knocks it away, and the Flashes are going to keep them out of the end zone and no point after attempt success. Jack Titler is the one who successfully broke that up, and the Flashes lead is going to be 13-6. As we get our score updated here for all of our viewers on the Flashes digital network, Deacon Ott, who is down on the far side of the field taking statistics, keeping an eye on things for us. He'll be back in just a few moments, so it's just going to be you and I for a minute. Excited to bring you this broadcast on the Flashes digital network. Simulcast on WSOS 103.9. We love our partners over there at WSOS. Huge shout out to Kevin Gettings for all the work that he does in our local community to support any number of important local topics and news. Of course, WSOS plays all of your favorite hits from the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. Also want to give a shout out and a big thank you to our producer, Kathy Sherwood, who's back in the WSOS studios. I am serving as your play-by-play guy and your analyst for the moment. It's kind of a single-man booth for a little while. Brian will be back shortly. I know you miss him. I miss him too, but he will be back soon. Speaking of being back, it looks like Ray Edwards is back to return this kickoff. Jeremiah Kess is in kind of a mid position, but he's closer to the sidelines. Asher Glisson is on the far sideline doing the same. Kicker is set up rather short, and this one is going to be drilled towards the sideline. It's going to go out of bounds, and the Panthers are going to use a very similar strategy here. I suppose the conversation is we don't want to put ourselves in harm's way when we don't need to. Getting the ball at the 35-yard line, you take away the risk of injury, likewise take away the risk of a big return. Flashes opened up this ball game with a big kickoff return, and I think the Panthers wanted to avoid a similar circumstance. Flashes lead at 13-6. We are still in the first quarter, but we are doing so without a scoreboard or a clock. So unfortunately, I can't give you the time updates that I would normally be providing throughout these ball games. So all I can tell you is that we are late in the first quarter, and the Flashes lead at 13-6. Calvin Schilling and Ray Evans are split out wide to the right. Looks like Jack Fox is split out wide to the left. Asher Glisson is in the backfield, and Cody Ott is under center. Fox goes in motion. Ott takes the snap, hands it off to Glisson, gets a nice block up the middle by Fox. He is going to pick up a nice gain. Looks like he'll pick up 12 yards, and that'll be a first down for the Flashes. The ball will be marked just shy of midfield. So 14 would be the appropriate number of yards gained on that play. Temperatures are fairly significant. We're in the upper 80s, if not the low 90s, as we're hanging out here up off Bay Meadows Road in Jacksonville, Florida. Temperatures are high. Players, listed at 90 degrees. It says partly cloudy, but there's only one cloud in the sky. It's to my west right now, and it's not doing much of a job blocking the sun. There is a player from the Panthers down on the field right now. St. Joseph Academy and the Flashes have headed over to their sideline to grab a little bit of water. The officials are grabbing some water as well. And actually, the head referee is sending everybody over to the sidelines. They need a few minutes to attend to this injury. So we're going to take a timeout. We'll be back in just a minute. The whistle blows, bringing play back. The player from the Panthers was able to walk off the field under his own power, so he's good to go. Ray Evans takes the snap, the direct snap, little wildcat play here. Evans coming my way, sprints down the sideline. He's got one man to beat, and he goes into the end zone for the score. Touchdown Flashes. A 51-yard scamper for Ray Evans. Absolutely electric play there from Evans. He was able to tiptoe along the sidelines, never stepped out of bounds. Running slightly slower than Ray Evans did is my co-host Brian. He's going to grab the headset here. Brian, that was quite the run. He tiptoed the sideline, stayed in bounds, 51 yards for the score for the Flashes.
So there was not a touchdown signal then? I couldn't tell if we're lining up for a kick or if I see Cody Ott coming out here, but he's also the holder.
So unless something unique happened.
Yep, looks like it's
okay.
You are right, first and goal.
No, I'm not right. I said touchdown. I proclaimed it loudly. But it does appear that they are going to go for it here unless they're just going for two to make up for the missed extra point earlier. Pass goes back to Ray Evans, and now Evans is going to dance his way into the end zone. And everybody's coming off the field. No, I believe that was a 2-point conversion attempt. That first touchdown, that first play was in fact a touchdown. And they are now catching up. Ray Evans walking my way, gives us a little thumbs up here. You guys can all see him there on camera. Touchdown Flashes, 2-point conversion is good, and the Flashes lead is 21-6.
You are correct. I thought I heard you say he went out of bounds at the 1 or the 2, and so that was why I was asking. But actually, as I was jogging past the coaching staff, I did hear them say coach 2, or we're going for 2, but I think the exertion of jogging down the sideline back and forth probably juggled my brain cells a little bit.
Listen, when a gentleman of a certain age wearing flip-flops, holding a pen and a clipboard is exerting himself in such a way, you can be excused some minor inaccuracies or confusion.
Confusion comes with the age.
Flashes get back on schedule so far as the score goes. Brian, I was commenting when the Panthers kicked the ball out of bounds as well. You know, the NFL has really gone away from the traditional kickoff. As a matter of fact, they've designed an entirely new kickoff system. But one of the things that was happening is teams were determining that giving the other team the ball at the 20 or the 25-yard line wasn't that big a deal. It appears, with the ball being spotted at the 35 after these out-of-bounds kicks, that these high school teams are thinking the same thing. I don't risk injury for my players, and I don't risk a big return. And the 35, I guess, is an okay price to pay.
It is, and I think that's also a vote of confidence on your defense. We've got a defense that has given up a total of 12 points in 2 1/4 games. So, Coach Cash is saying, I believe in you guys. I believe that my chances of getting a stop are better than their chances of driving 65 yards on you guys.
Flash's defense now looks to get another stop. Panthers, 2 wide receivers out to the left, 1 to the right. There is a back in the backfield with Jeremy Darius. He drops back to pass. He's under pressure. He rolls right. A couple of guys giving pressure, and he's just going to throw that one into the dirt and get rid of it. Incomplete pass. That'll bring up 2nd down and 10. Panthers have it from their own 35-yard line.
Max Grimes there to apply some pressure along the left side of the defense. Jack Fox would have been there to make a play on the receiver. Jack Fox, again, who lines up as end, but sometimes goes in drop coverage. We've seen him make a tackle down the field. I think with the speed that the Panthers have shown tonight on offense, this afternoon on offense, I think it's going to be key how well we can contain the edge on that run game and on the quarterback.
No, those are both excellent points, and I think this is a test because of the level of athlete you're playing against this week. We've already seen from Messiah Frazier the speed. Darius hands it off to number 11. He evades the first tackler, now heads around the right side. He's going to be taken off his feet and brought down shy of the 40-yard line. It was 2nd down and 10. It's going to be 3rd down and short, but they have not officially marked this one yet, so we're going to give them a moment. Not much of a gain. They're only going to give them credit for about 2 yards. We We'll call it 3rd down and 8.
And we had some nice penetration in the backfield. Somebody got a hand on him, didn't make the tackle, slowed him down, and it was Dominic Puntillo and Ricky Fernandez, who've both been active tonight defensively, were combining on the tackle.
Flash's defense has been impressive all year. They're going to have to step up here. It's 3rd down and 8. Jeremy Darius looks over the defense, brings a receiver in motion, takes the snap, fakes the handoff, and now hands it off to the second man. But the Flash's defense steps up big.
And I think that was Ricky Fernandez again.
That was Fernandez, number 64, tackles him in the backfield. That is going to be a loss of 5 yards. That's going to bring up a 4th down and 13.
Tremendous penetration by Ricky, a great sure wrap-up, and it looks like we're going to see a punt.
Jeremiah Kess is back deep to receive. Brian Ott is now racing his way down the track to go try to keep up with the returner and stay with the action. I'll stay right along with you. The quarterback is also the punter. He stands at his own 20-yard line. It is a low snap, but he gets a hold of it, gets away a good kick under pressure. Jeremiah Kess makes the catch around his own 40-yard line, sprints around the right side. He's across midfield, and now the 40, cuts it back at the 30. He's got an opening, spins away from a tackler at the 10. He goes inside the 5. The Flashes are in business. They will start this next drive, 1st down and goal. Brian doing a little math there, checking on things. Student photographer Zachary Anderson is in the area. He's taking pictures.
52 yards on the return. Very impressive. How about it when you've got 2 guys that can do that? Who are they going to punt to if you're the Panthers right now?
Gotta love the skill work for the Flashes. All right, so they've set the ball on the right hash, and they've put it at the 5-yard line. Jack Fox is alone in the backfield. 3 wide receivers are in the formation. Throw to the back corner of the end zone. Ray Evans juggles it and then brings it in for the score. Touchdown Flashes.
Beautiful touch and a great job by Evans to use his body to box out the defender. That was practically a jump ball, but because Evans used his physicality to put himself where only he could have a play, and then great concentration to watch the ball into the hands after not 1 but 2 bobbles, they both get credit for the touchdown.
So, as always, I hate having to do this, but I have to apologize to our viewers. I think the touchdown was just a little bit out of frame. We're working on hiring, and by hiring I mean finding a volunteer. And by a volunteer I mean finding somebody who's voluntold to run the camera and help us out a little bit during this broadcast. The extra point is up and through. 28 points on the board for the Flashes. While everybody gets reset, we are going to take a timeout. We are still in the first quarter. The Flashes lead this one 28-6. Welcome back. Flashes chose to kick this one and unfortunately are dealing with the consequences. There's a return that gets out across the 40-yard line. They're going to spot this one all the way out towards midfield. So, Brian, there's the math here, right? There's the math. You kick it out of bounds. The flag goes up. Everybody goes, what are you doing? And they set the ball at the 35. That one they kick off, and unfortunately with the return, the ball is going to be out there at midfield.
And you may think it's easy to just kick it out of bounds every time, but the ball has to travel a pretty decent distance to get to the sideline. So I don't know that that was intentional. We saw it happen a couple times last week that the ball was caught or bounced just 3 or 4 yards inside of the sideline. Actually, once worked out really well for the Flashes.
It's 28-6. We are still in the first quarter. Flashes with a huge first quarter offensively. Ray Evans with a couple of touchdowns. Flashes defense, Dominic Puntillo wrap and spins him down. That was kind of that alligator tackle. Rolls him down, and it's going to be 2nd down and 15.
Dominic has been a force on the defensive line, another senior. Tell you what, the Flashes are making good use of this year when they have so much strong senior leadership and key position players all over the field. Next year is going to be a challenge to replace them, but we have seen players rise up to say, I got this, next man up. Dominic's going to be another guy that we're going to miss.
For sure. But high school football is all about next man up. We've talked about this many a time as these guys come into their own right before our eyes as each new year comes. All right, the Panthers looking to work their way out of the hole. They've got 3 wide receivers in the formation. Jeremy Darius in the shotgun. He's got a back on his left hip. High snap is going to be tipped over to the running back, and the back is going to be tackled after a short gain. What a unique play there by the quarterback. He leapt up, got one hand on the ball, and then kind of volleyball passed it over to his back, who's going to pick up 4 yards on the play.
Yeah, it was a good heady play by the running back. On the long touchdown run, I overheard Coach Cash get on the defense and say, look, we had one guy, Jeremiah Kess, hold up the ball carrier for 5 seconds. Where's the gang tackling there? Well, that time we had 3 guys get to the ball. Cal Schilling was one of them. I know number 24, Asher Smith, was another one, and I think Ray Evans might have been the third. But that's what Coach Cash wants to see out of this defense. He wants to see 8, 10, 11 guys flying to the ball.
All right, so we've got a stoppage of play on the field. I believe that is going to signal the end of the first quarter. So we're going to take our first official quarter timeout of the evening. It's the St. Joseph Academy Flashes 28 and the Duval Charter Panthers 6. Welcome back to Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9 and the Flashes Digital Network. As we get started here in the second quarter, the Flashes lead it 28-6. It's a hot one out here, 90 degrees on the field, and actually 90 degrees in the air. It's more than that down here on this turf field. Flashes off to a great start, and right now they've forced the Panthers into a 3rd and long.
It's like Ray Evans is lining up at linebacker. He's traditionally been an outside player, but you were mentioning next guy up. A lot of the safeties and cornerbacks sometimes move inside the linebacker as they get bigger.
High snap here for Jeremy. Jeremy makes a nice throw on the slant, and he's got a receiver with some wiggle. That is Messiah Frazier, and another big play for the young skill player.
Yeah, and offensively, I love crossing routes. You get a fast guy coming across the middle against a zone defense. You do something on the other side of that crossing route where they end up to distract whoever the linebacker, the cornerback, the safety who's on that side, and you have the potential to take an easy pass and turn it into something big, and especially when you've got electric playmakers, and Duval Charter has some.
We've got a timeout on the field. Both teams come over to the sidelines in order to discuss some of what we've seen over the course of the last few minutes. So when we get these breaks after a quarter, and then you get a timeout not long after that, I don't know what the scope of the conversation is. I don't know. I don't see any injuries out there on the field right now. Seems like an early spot for a timeout. I didn't get a chance to see the signal on who called that timeout. But I'd be curious if you saw the signal, because it was an odd time just after the end of the quarter break, unless it's the defense and they just needed a breather after what was a pretty tough tackle, a nice sideline to sideline play by a couple of linebackers.
Sure, and sometimes, in a game that's 28-6, you don't necessarily need to save that timeout. It's nice to have it if you want to make a drive at the end of the half, but on a day when the heat is such a big factor, I think gathering the guys over and talking about assignments in a situation like that is a good use of a timeout, if indeed it was called by the Flashes. I think the Flashes, maybe for the first time this season, are the smaller roster of the two teams. I counted over 40 names on the Panthers roster today.
1st and 10 for the Panthers. Darius takes the snap, fires this one left, and that one is going to be incomplete. Brian Rodriguez was the intended target, but that one goes wide. It'll be 2nd down and 10, ball spotted at the plus 40-yard line.
Darius kind of sidearms it. It's maybe a little less than a three-quarter arm motion. Comes with some pop, but as we were watching warm-ups before the big guys came out, the offensive linemen came out, the accuracy was mixed. He threw some really nice balls on target, and he also threw some off target like that one.
2nd and 10 here for the Panthers. Panthers, white pants, black jerseys, black helmet. Flashes, white jersey, black pants, black helmet. Throw goes outside to the right. Jack Fox right there. Big hit there for the Flashes.
Boy, Jack was sitting on it. Jack was begging him to throw that ball. Jack's not the guy you want to throw that pass against.
No, but there's another guy, though. He's more of a defensive end type. That's a big cat to be playing out there in the flat and getting a back who they tried to swing one to.
But I mentioned it before. We've seen Jack line up at that defensive end and play out in space a lot. Last year we saw him more of just a pass rusher, run stopper, but we've seen him make tackles 8-10 yards down the field. We've seen him defend the pass, and right now we've got him lined up on a slot receiver.
3rd down and about 11. Here's the snap. Throw to the outside. That one is going to be complete to number 9, and he's going to be right at the sticks. Number 9 is Zephaniah Zealous, and he's going to be taken down. They have not made an official signal that I've seen as to whether or not it was a 1st down, and now they do. They wave the sticks forward. He was right at the line to gain.
Jameer Stewart was the first guy there. Thought he might slip by him, but he had a jersey and hung on and actually was the last guy to throw him down. Calvin Schilling came up from the safety position and delivered a punishing hit. Again, good teamwork by the Flashes on the tackle there.
One wide receiver on the near side of the field, 2 on the far side. Alex Voorhees is the man in the backfield along with Jeremy Darius. 1st and 10 from the plus 30-yard line. Handoff goes to Voorhees. Voorhees goes around the right side. He's got a little wiggle, and they're heading right towards us here. We've got front row seats. Looks like he's going to pick up a 1st down on the play.
And made a couple guys miss. That's a running back who's got some nice start and stop ability, Voorhees, and it was Stewart again on the tackle, but unfortunately it was after a 10-yard gain.
So 1st down now for the Panthers. They're in the red zone for the 2nd time this evening. Ball is spotted at the 19-yard line.
You know, quarterback is such a rhythm position. You hate to see the opposing quarterback starting to get into a groove, but we've seen Darius throw a few nice balls here in a row. Short passes, good play calls by the coaches to kind of build up that confidence after a few misses early on.
Flash's defense, couple of hands on hips here. It's been an interesting 2nd quarter thus far. Flash's offense has put 28 points on the board. Ooh, but a flag comes out. We don't have a play clock here, but it looks like this one is going to go against the offense. They're going to back up 5 yards. Ball goes back to the 24, and they rewind the clock. A clock that we cannot see. We are midway through the 2nd quarter. Flashes lead at 28-6.
It's good training for a quarterback, though. A quarterback has to have a clock in his head, both pre-snap and post-snap if you're holding on to the ball too long in the pocket.
Oh, we've got a false start here. Flags come out. You know, Brian, this is the first time we've ever been close enough to where we could actually hear the officials, and the side judge actually said false start out loud before he even threw the flag.
Well, I think what happened there, because we had guys on both sides of the line of scrimmage moving, is I think that was an intentional hard count snap. And as a coach, the most hair-pulling thing that can happen is when one of your guys jumped and two of their guys jumped and drew us off sides. But that's why the penalty's on the Panthers.
After 2 procedural penalties, it's first down and 20. High snap, handoff goes to Voorhees. Voorhees is going to be taken down in the backfield. Flash's defense was ready for that draw play. Number 54 comes out of the bottom of the pile after having made the tackle.
Yeah, Eddie Petracco, again, really asserting himself in the middle of that defense. I mentioned last time, I know he's new to the Flashes. I think he's new to football, or at least to high school football. But he's looking good out there. Looks like a football player. He's not afraid. He plays downhill, which is what you want in an inside linebacker. This Flash's defense is really coming together well this year, even though some guys have moved to different positions from last year.
Second down and 20 plus. Ball is spotted back around the 34-yard line. Offense gets set. Coaches yelling from the sideline about delay a game just as a warning. Here is the snap, and the quarterback is going to slip down. Darius lost his footing, and that is going to be a 5, if not 6-yard loss. That's going to bring up third down and a long ways.
And this is a difficult position to be in as an offense. The ball's on the 40-yard line. To get a first down, they've got to get it to the 10. You can punt. I doubt they will. I think they're going to try and get some of it back, because there's always, especially the way our punt return team is. I don't know that I'd be punting. If I was punting, I think I'd punt it straight out of bounds, hopefully inside the 20.
All right, third and a long ways. Couple of wide receivers in the formation. Looks like trips left, one to the right. Man in the backfield. Clap for the snap. Throws this one. He's got a man. That one's going to be intercepted by the Flashes. Calvin Schilling comes over from the safety position, gets the interception, hands the ball to the official, and the Flashes will have it at their own 15-yard line.
That's Schilling's second interception. That was some fine safety play there. You know what? One of the things that we've seen with Jameer Stewart, a freshman who's a starting cornerback and progressively is getting better and better, is we've seen opposing offenses go after him because he's not the tallest player on the team. And so I think Schilling recognized that on a long situation, he kind of did what the Panthers did to us with Jeremiah Kess before. He stayed in the middle, showed a man look, and then as soon as the snap went, Schilling started moving to the outside. Really, both guys were there to make an interception. The ball was a little bit underthrown. If Schilling didn't have it, then Jameer would have made a play on it. But great play by Schilling, and if Jameer wasn't there to kind of bump into him, he might have had a little return room.
Jameer had great coverage, and arguably, when they get back into the film room, he's going to be saying, that was actually my pick. You took that from me. But we'll let them enjoy that conversation when the time comes. Right now, the Flashes enjoying a timeout. It is 90-plus degrees in the air out here. I'm going to imagine it is 100-plus out here on this turf field. The sun is starting to sink down a little bit in the west. Hopefully it's going to drop behind these trees here in a little bit. Maybe we get just a little bit of shade. I will note, and you know what, it's smart. I'm not mad about it, but you'll notice the home sideline is currently in the shade, while we over here on the visitor sideline are dealing with a little bit of extra heat and the sun in our eyes.
But interestingly, the Panthers were in no hurry to get the game started, which, as you point out, might work a little bit towards the Flash's benefit because of that sun factor. Of course, they both got to play in it at the end of the day. It seems to me, we don't know without a clock, but I can't imagine that we're 6 minutes into the second quarter. It seems to me that the refs maybe are mercifully giving extra water breaks. A lot of guys coming out with their helmets off.
Yeah, I'm really not sure what's happening right now. Both teams with their helmets off, and they're walking over maybe to the shaded area of the field. What a marvelous moment of sportsmanship if, in fact, the team said, hey, you know what, come on over here, guys, and you can set up in the shade. That's pretty fantastic as we head into what I'm assuming now is our 6-minute water break. The St. Joseph Academy Flashes lead this one 28-6. We are midway through the second quarter, and both teams are heading over into the shade for a little break.
And it's hard to say if that came from the opposing coaching staff or from the referees. I was going to compliment the refs because I felt like we weren't 6 minutes in and maybe they've thrown a couple of extra ones. I will also compliment the staff of the Panthers. Of course, you and I had an opportunity to interact a little bit with one of their assistant coaches, Coach Jackson, and just a super nice, helpful fella.
Yep.
Ran out probably about 50, 70 yards of extension cord so we could have the view that we have. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't have been able to broadcast at all. And the fact that we're even on the sideline at the 15-yard line is better than what we feared we might be initially behind the goalposts, where, let me tell you, it would have been hard to see anything from our viewer's standpoint or from ours.
Yeah, and we always have, it seems like we always have unique circumstances to do these broadcasts under. We're getting a lot of fun and interesting experiences as we do this. But both of us talked before the game, and actually as we were talking to Coach Jackson, we all said the same thing. He actually is a retired Air Force and said, look, I'm working harder in my retirement sometimes than I feel like I was when I was actually doing my job. He said, but I'm out here for the kids. And we're doing the very same thing. You're out here both as a dad and as just an interested party here with so many kids coming from your school, coming to ours. You know, I'm the principal who loves broadcasting but enjoys getting to do this for our student athletes, that they get a chance to go back, watch these recordings, listen to the broadcast. I know they laugh because sometimes we miss some nice plays as we're trying to manipulate the camera here from the sideline. They at least have the audio if they don't get a perfect video. But it's fun because this is what high school football is really all about.
One of the things that Coach Jackson said is that I said, yeah, St. Joe's a small school. We're just 9 through 12, whereas Duval Charter is a K through 12. And I said St. Joe just went over 300 this year. It's the highest enrollment that we've had in a lot of years.
337.
337. And he laughed and said, we added 300 this year.
Wow.
So my point being, this is a school that, look out for Duval Charter. You get a few Jags or former Jags that are supporting your staff. There's going to be some good things that roll into this program because of them. Coach Jackson said that right now we got a lot of guys who want to play football, but we don't yet have a lot of football players. And I think we're going to see this team become a team that you don't know if you want to schedule if they keep developing, because they certainly have some athletes out there.
That is an understandable distinction. We just got word from one of the coaches that because of the temperature, both teams were awarded a 3-minute heat break, which I think for safety's sake is a sound and a good application of the rules in the FHSAA, trying to protect young athletes from heat-borne illnesses.
I'm assuming that call was made by the referees, and I cannot applaud them enough for putting the safety of the players on both sides first.
All right, so we are late in the second quarter. The Flashes lead at 28-6, and they're going to have the ball at their own 15-yard line. You are looking at the chain gang here just in front of me. Handoff goes up the middle. Jack Fox is going to be out across the 20-yard line, and he's heading up the sideline across the 30 and all the way out to the 35, probably 35-plus yard line. We'll see where they officially spot it, but I think it'll be around the 37. Fantastic run around right tackle for Jack Fox.
Yeah, and Jack's one of those guys who we typically think of him as a between the tackles runner because of his size, his strength, and just the dog in him. He gets after it. He runs downhill. But Jack can also, much like Brody Ely last year, he can also break that outside run. We've seen him break a couple of long ones, one for 36 and one for 20 in the first half.
Handoff up the middle is again to a Flash's running back, waiting to see officially if that was Fox or Glisson.
It was Glisson.
And a little bit of jibber-jabber here off to the side of the play. That block was continued all the way out to the numbers. The player is a little slow in getting up. I know the player didn't appreciate it, and the referee had a little chit-chat with both of them.
So when you look at our top three running backs, Jack is the leading rusher. He's running for 10.5 yards per carry, 126 on the season. Ray has 117 yards, 10.6 yards per carry. Asher has 66 yards, 9.4 yards per carry. How often do teams have running backs that get a handful of touches, each running for over 9 yards a carry?
Jack Fox is going to see how many yards he can get here, and that is not going to help the average, although he breaks away from the initial tackle in the backfield and is going to drag 3 or 4 black jerseys forward. He'll head out to the 45-yard line, and that pickup is going to bring them to, looks like a 3rd down and less than 1.
Yeah, it was really close to a first down. That was kind of a play there where you look at Jack and you're like, just to go down there. Anytime a player runs backwards, especially when you're getting less than 5 yards from a first down, you get a little bit nervous. But because he just kept churning the legs, Todd, I think they may have given him a first down. They have. I see the one on the chains, the sticks. So it is first down flashes, and probably in a play or two, I'm going to be moving down the field with the team.
First down and 10 from the 45-yard line. We're going to try to keep that umbrella from making its way out on the field. And a big run for Ray Evans. He makes a nice move, slides on the turf, spins around a couple of times. A nice gain. Looks like there was a couple of guys in the area. They weren't able to bring him down.
Yeah, that was a flashy run. Evans, a big play waiting to happen. Looked like he had a chance at breaking that. We have another player down from the Panthers. The heat is already taking its toll. And it looks like we have a stoppage here, and I'm going to move down the sideline to keep stats for the next. Well, maybe I'll hang around for a minute since it looks like we're not.
Well, actually, we are going to be, I'm getting a signal here. We need to head to break here on the Flashes Digital Network. We'll be back in 30 seconds. And we're back here on WSOS 103.9 and the Flashes Digital Network. The Flashes have it in plus territory. Cody Ott throws this one down the sideline. He goes for Jack Fox, overthrows him just a bit. That one is going to fall incomplete. Nice throw there, but unfortunately good coverage as well. You know, there was a time that Jack Fox was playing the tight end position. He was actually doing that a little bit more than he was even considering running back. It wasn't until late in the year last year that they started giving him some looks in the backfield. That ended up being a revelation, and he stayed in that position and really hasn't left it. But they actually put him out on a little wheel route there. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to bring it in. 3 wide receivers in the formation. That is Titler and Kess out to the left. Ray Evans out to the right, but the handoff is going to go to Asher Glisson. Glisson is going to pop this one outside, high steps his way, and he'll be tackled out of bounds. A flag comes out at the end of the run. Not sure what that is going to be all about. Waiting to see if that is going to be a blocking issue that's going to bring this one back, or if that'll be face mask late hit or the like. No official signal yet. Looks like this one is going to come back. It's going to be a hold against the Flashes. That looked like one of those circumstances where the hold came very late. I think it might have been a wide receiver out there on the perimeter as Glisson tried to pick up a couple of extra yards. So that is going to erase what was a solid run, and it will lead to a second down and 20 after the incompletion. Trips left, two receivers out to the right. Ott drops back to pass. Now he steps up in the pocket, fires this one out to the left. He's got a man. That is complete to Max Grimes. Grimes with his first catch of the year, not his first target. He actually had a target in the first or second game of the year. Was a little disappointed that he wasn't able to bring it in, and I think had a conversation with Ott afterwards because he felt like he was open on another play during that ball game. But he is the recipient of that pass there. We'll give him credit for about 7 yards on the completion. Flash is now looking at what I believe is a 3rd down and 12. We're broadcasting live. We are late in the second quarter. Flashes lead at 28-6. We are down at field level around the 15-yard line. Very unique vantage point for the broadcast, but we're doing the best we can to make it work. Ott puts this one in the air. He's got a man deep. That is Ray Evans, but it's going to be overthrown, just barely incomplete, and that will bring up a 4th down. 4th down for the Flashes. Decision time as well. Not sure how the Flashes coaches are going to approach this one. Cody Ott is running out onto the field, so the punter stays on the sideline. That would have been Adrian Hemelt. They're going to go for it. Ball is around the 35-yard line, it appears. Flash is huddling up around their own 42. Scratch that. Around the Panthers' 42. They come to the line. 3 wide receivers out to the right, 1 to the left. Glisson by himself in the backfield. Ott under pressure. Rolls right. He's going to run it. Sprints down the sideline, and boy, oh boy, from here it is hard to tell, but I think this is going to be really, really close. Although now I see a player walking off the field with a relatively unpleasant bit of body language. So I think the Flashes came up just short there. And they did. Flash's defense is now coming out onto the field. And the offense for the Panthers gets ready to come over. We are late in the second quarter here from Duval Charter. Flashes lead at 28-6. We've got a timeout on the field. We'll take 30 seconds up here in the booth or down on the field as well. Flash's defense, which has played well throughout the early part of this ball game, it's only given up 6 points. They need to make a late second quarter stop here. The Duval Charter Panthers have it inside their own 30-yard line. Oh, and this one is blown up in the backfield. I believe that is going to be Dominic Puntillo, who comes up with a big tackle in the backfield. Nice play by the Flash's defensive line. I'm about 80 yards away from the play. So I'm waiting for that player to turn around completely to confirm. But that was, in fact, Puntillo on the tackle. The 6'1", 200-plus pound senior defensive lineman made a couple of big plays earlier in the game, and now he gets in the backfield, and it's going to be 2nd down and 13. Again, we are late second quarter here. There is no scoreboard. There's no game clock. The officials are all keeping it themselves on the sideline. Now we've got a timeout on the field. That'll be a timeout for the Panthers. And we'll take another break here on Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9 and the Flashes Digital Network. And we're back. You're listening to Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9 and watching this game as well on the Flashes Digital Network. Flashes lead at 28-6 late in the second quarter. We are rapidly approaching halftime, but we don't know officially how much time actually remains on the clock. Officials are keeping that time on the field. Jeremy Darius is going to hand this one off to Voorhees. Voorhees runs this one up the middle. And excuse me, that was not Voorhees. Actually, that was number 20, Jaffet Navarro. And Navarro is going to be brought down after a short gain. Head coach Aaron Beasley, former Jacksonville Jaguar defensive back, a third-round pick of the Jags back in 1996, is the head coach. Donovan Darius, who is one of my favorite Jaguars of all time, a hard-hitting safety, I believe out of Syracuse. His son, Jeremy, is the quarterback. And we've got a timeout on the field. Both teams head over to the sideline. And so I guess we're going to head to yet another break. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Welcome back to Friday Night Lights. So as we get towards the end of this second quarter, both teams using their timeouts. The Flashes, I know, had 2 timeouts left. I did not see the official signal on who that timeout was charged to, but I am making the assumption that that was a Flashes timeout because I think they're hoping to get this ball back. 3 wide receivers in the formation for the Panthers. Darius gets them lined up. They are deep in their own zone. Here's the pass. It's out to the right, and that one is going to be incomplete. And we're going to head to 4th down for the Panthers. They are readying the punting unit. The incompletion, of course, stops the clock, and the Flashes, I think, are going to get one more opportunity with the football, and they hope with really good field position. Ray Evans is going to drop back as your return man. He and Jeremiah Kess have kind of alternated over the course of the season on who's doing kickoffs and punt returns. Looks like today Evans is the guy. He's got a couple of touchdowns already. One on the ground, one through the air. And the Flashes will try to get on the scoreboard one more time before the end of the first half. Darius has dropped back about 12 yards in his backfield. Evans standing back at midfield, maybe a step in front. It is a high kick that is going to go over the head of Evans. Takes a big bounce. He is going to field it. Jukes the man in front of him at the 30-yard line. Now he's across the 40. Cuts it back to the left. Now up the seam. He's across midfield and now the 40. He's heading down the sideline. Blocker in front. Gets a man in front of him. We've lost sight of him because of all the players. He'll be tackled, but he gets into the red zone. What a return by Raymond Evans. That kid has been absolutely fantastic. Love watching him play football. There is a player from the Panthers down on the field. Players are all being instructed to come over to the sideline and take a knee. We're going to take the 30-second timeout while the injured player is addressed on the field. We'll be right back on Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9. The Flashes lead it 28-6 over Duval Charter. So we still have an injured player down on the field for the Panthers. Dr. Grimes and the Flashes team trainer, Tina Vias, are actually over there taking care of the player. A couple of coaches from the Panthers side are over there to address it as well. Prayers up to the young athlete. He's been down on the ground for a couple of minutes. No way to tell from our vantage point what the nature of the injury is, but there are quite a few people surrounding him down there. And so we're going to let them continue to work and try to get that player back in a good way. So we'll be taking a little extended break here. We'll let you know when we return. Player is up, and with just a little bit of assistance, is heading back over to the Panthers sideline. Head coach Aaron Beasley, as well as the trainer Tina Vias, are walking him over there. Nice round of applause from both teams and their fans as he made it up onto his feet. Flash's defense looking to, Flash's defense made the stop. Flash's actually got a nice punt return that puts him in a position here inside the 10-yard line. Hard to tell from here. I actually do see two stanchions up, so they must be just outside the 10-yard line. First down and 10. Limited time left in the first half. We are late in the second quarter. Flashes lead at 28-6. Ott takes the snap, hands it off to Fox. Fox goes straight up the middle, bounces it out to the right while carrying a couple of defenders. Not a whole lot doing there. Looks like we've got a timeout and a water break out on the field. Doing our best to keep up. We don't have a scoreboard. There's no clock. So we're trying to keep you up as best we can. But another timeout on the field as the Flashes look to punch this one in before the end of the half. We'll be right back. Flashes are back in business. They lead at 28-6. We are in the final minutes here of the second quarter. Flashes have it second down and long. Here's the snap. The throw from Ott. Corner of the end zone intended for Jeremiah Kess, but that is going to be incomplete. We're going to try to zoom in here for you just a little bit for those of you that are watching this on the Flashes digital network. For those of you that are listening to this on the radio, you can't see it anyway, but that throw was a high arcing throw that headed over towards the right corner of the end zone, but it was overthrown and incomplete. Cass definitely had a step on the corner, but it was a tight window for sure. So now that brought another clock stoppage, which gives the Flashes another shot at the end zone here. Ott takes the snap. He rolls right. He's under some pressure. Turns the corner. He's going to keep it and run it. Spins and then is tackled. Ooh, it looks like he was tackled out of bounds, which is big for the Flashes. They will get another stoppage of play here and are going to get another play before the end of the first half. Although we're having to guess just a little bit at the time. We know the score, 28-6 in favor of St. Joe. We don't know for sure how much time is left on the clock. Really nice campus out here for Duval Charter. Nice field as well. I understand a scoreboard is on the list of things along with lights to get this field ready. Flashes are actually going to take this opportunity to kick a field goal. Here's the snap, the hold, the kick from Hemelt is up, and it is no good, wide right. Hemelt unable to connect on the long field goal. A nice effort there by the Flashes to get some more points on the board before the end of the half, but unfortunately the field goal is unsuccessful, and the Panthers are going to get another crack at it before the end of the half themselves. Offense worked hard to put themselves in a position there to get some points before the end of the half. At great field position, took a shot at the end zone, but Ott and Kess were unable to connect. Nice effort there by Hemelt. The kick had the height and the distance, but it looked like it was just a hair to the right of the upright, which is similar to the extra point that was missed earlier, which he put off the right upright. He was able to connect on his first 2 point-after attempts. He's got a big leg and has been quite accurate over the course of the year. Definitely kicking into some wind here. But now the Panthers take over. They've got the ball inside their own red zone. Quick throw to the outside is complete. And actually a nice gain there for the Panthers. They're going to get this one out to around the 40-yard line. And the Panthers are going to call a timeout. Flash's defense is going to get another opportunity to talk this one over as they try to put a wrap on this second quarter. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Oh, and scratch that. I was just notified that they did not get the timeout in time, and the game clock has gone to zeros. That is the end of the first half. St. Joseph Academy leads it 28-6 here from Duval Charter. Flashes are heading out to the south end zone. They're going to take a knee under the goalpost there and try to get themselves ready for the second half. You're listening to Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9 and the Flashes Digital Network. Well, my friends, we are back on Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9. My name is Todd. My co-host is Brian. We are broadcasting live here from Duval Charter High School off of Bay Meadows Road here in Jacksonville, Florida. The temperature has finally dropped below 90 degrees. The Flashes, though, have been hot on the field consistently. A 28-6 lead after a flurry of touchdowns in the first quarter. The second quarter was probably won 6-0 by the Panthers, but the Flashes got off to a great start and have ridden that into this third quarter. Brian, you got a chance to go down and be around the team a little bit during halftime. What's their energy like, and what are you expecting out of them here in the second half?
I think the energy is good, but maybe a little bit mixed. I'm looking right now to see if number 5 is out on the field, and I don't see him. Ray Evans suffered an ankle injury on the last big run that brought us into field goal range before halftime, and so I think there was some energy surrounding that. And you know, one noticeable thing is our leading receiver, who's been putting up video game numbers, Jeremiah Kess, has been held without a catch, and I think he was involved in a play that wasn't his fault. He wrapped up a guy and held him and really didn't get any help from his teammates on the lone touchdown of the night for the Falcons. So the coaches are still pushing them, still driving them. There's a good energy overall.
Flash's defense is going to get this one started. Quick throw to the outside. That is nearly intercepted. It goes right through the hands of the defender. That one's going to be knocked down. He gets a PBU in the stat sheet. But when they go to film session, he's going to be a little upset about not getting the interception.
That was Ricky Fernandez. We saw earlier tonight in a 2-point conversion play, Jack Titler be in a similar, if not better, situation where the ball was in Jack's hands. And you're right, they broke up the pass. I think there was a little bit of hands up in the air like, oh, what could have been there? But they were in the right position, and the end result is 2nd and 10.
High snap, one-handed grab by Jeremy Darius, but the Flash's defense was able to get into the backfield. Asher Glisson with the sack, and the Flashes are forcing the Panthers into a third and incredibly long in their first drive of the second half.
Great play by Asher. I mentioned at the beginning of the game that he's a leading tackler for the Flashes for the season. Going into this game, he is hoping to top his 9 tackles of last game. That sack gives him 4 for this game. So step it up, Asher. We need you.
Flash's defense has really dominated over the course of these first 3 weeks. Only 12 points allowed thus far. They've been impressive, more so than I think I anticipated coming into this season. Darius, the son of former Jacksonville Jaguar Donovan Darius. Ooh, this snap comes back low. Darius has to fall on it in the backfield, and that's going to bring up 4th down. And the punt team jogs out onto the field.
Yeah, I'd like to give Dominic Puntillo a credit for a sack there, but unfortunately I think the ball was down before he got there.
Doesn't matter. Player closest to the play there still gets the sack.
Then I will give Dominic Puntillo a credit for a sack. That's Dominic's 3rd tackle for a loss. He's got 6 solo tackles tonight, having a great game to lead the Flash's defense.
Jeremiah Kess is back to receive it, and I think just to follow up on that, I think the argument also becomes, had there not been penetration, he would have had time to pick up the football and run with it, but because of the penetration of Puntillo, he simply fell on it.
Fair point.
Low knuckleball of a kick is going to go over the head of Jeremiah Kess. He smartly allows that football to roll to a stop, and the Flashes will take over at their own 26-yard line. The sun is slowly starting to get down behind a couple of trees. A little bit of shade out there on the field for the players, all the way out to midfield and even extending all the way to the sideline in between the 40s. I will tell you, our location here at the 15-yard line, there is still no shade. But we're making it work, and what a great time we're having out here from Duval Charter. We are early in the third quarter. The St. Joseph Academy Flashes lead this one 28-6, and now have the ball at their own 26-yard line. Jack Fox is the lone running back. There are 3 wide receivers in this formation. Handoff, though, goes to Jack. Jack has got a lot of room. Look at him rumble his way down the field. He's going to pick up 15, if not more, on that run. The Flashes are in business for the first down, and I believe they are across midfield and into Panther territory.
Yeah, as you said it, there was a huge hole there, and Jack in the open field is as dangerous as anybody. I'm going to shift down the field a little bit so I can get a better viewpoint for these stats.
3 wide receivers in the formation, 2 to the right, 1 to the left. Referee steps in to stop plays so that substitutions can be made. Looks like the Panthers are a man short, and now somebody comes out on the field. Whistle brings play back in order. Jack Fox goes straight up the middle. A solid gain there, and that'll be a first down run for St. Joe. That is going to yield 5 yards. Second down and 5 for the Flashes. Flashes offense has moved the ball well. They scored in spurts. 2 really big plays in the first quarter and then a couple of short runs. The offense, I'm not going to say it sputtered in the second quarter, but they certainly didn't put points on the board as prolifically as they did in the first. Jack Fox keeps this one on the ground, goes straight up the middle, and that'll be another first down for St. Joe. Solid running up the middle for the big senior running back. He is a load to bring down. That is for sure. I'm getting word from the studio that we're having a couple of issues with our sound. Touching base with some folks who can maybe provide some assistance there, but I think we're doing a little bit better now. Quick throw to the outside is complete. We're going to check the receiver in just a moment. I believe that is going to end up being Jack Titler. It's going to bring up, looks like they've got about 3 yards to go for this first down. Two wide receivers are out to the right. The tight end is Max Grimes. He goes in motion from the right to the left. Titler, the lone receiver, out to the left. But this handoff is going to go to Jack Fox, and Fox is going to rumble his way forward. And that second down run is going to be another Flashes first down. A methodical drive here in the third quarter for the Flashes. They lead this one 28-6. We are early in the third quarter. Now there's no scoreboard here at Duval Charter, so unfortunately I can't give you updates on time. We're kind of monitoring it based on when they offer the water breaks. It looks like the defense needs a water break, if not more. Jack Fox again goes straight up the middle. Another punishing run, carries a couple of defenders. And now the chain gang is going to carry the chain. So he picked up at least 10. Looks to be more like 12 on that run. So throughout these broadcasts, we're down here on the sidelines. I'm actually set up at the 15-yard line. What would be the Flashes' 15-yard line. Now they're now in the south end zone, pretty far away from us. But I always appreciate the comments through YouTube and also the messages that I get. We've got a couple of really loyal listeners, and we are so thankful for them. They, right now, are witnessing Jack Fox. He heads off the right side, breaks a tackle, now another, and he's going to go all the way into the end zone for the score. Touchdown, Flashes. St. Joe puts their 35th point up on the board. Scratch that. 34th point up on the board, but a flag comes out late. I'm not sure if this is going to be a celebration penalty or if there was a little bit of jibber-jabber, but either way, a flag has come out. We're going to wait for official word on the call. It looks like it's going to go against the Flashes. The touchdown is good, but the extra point is now going to be quite a bit further than it normally is. Flashes are going to have to work hard for this one. Although now they're coming forward, it looks like this one might be assessed on the kickoff, because they are now moving back into what is a relatively normal field goal area. Adrian Hemelt lines up for the extra point. His holder is Cody Ott. There's the snap, the hold, the kick, and adjustments were made for Hemelt. That one is good. It is now 35-6 in favor of the Flashes. What an offensive explosion. So excited for the Flashes. They've played incredibly well over the course of the early part of this season. Really excited for them. They continue to progress and grow. Exciting to see it happen. You're watching this broadcast live on the Flashes Digital Network and listening to it on WSOS 103.9. Flashes are moving from right to left on your radio dial. They're kind of moving at a diagonal from the lower right-hand corner of the screen to the top of your screen if you're watching this on the digital network. Flashes are in black pants, white jerseys, and black numbers with a little gold and black trim. Black helmets with a pretty cool lightning bolt running across that helmet. They are marking off the penalty now from the touchdown. So this kickoff is going to happen from their own 25-yard line. Duval Charter, black socks, white pants, black jerseys, and black helmets. They're getting ready to kick this one off. They've been kicking the ball out of bounds intentionally, taking the penalty and putting it at the 35, but a different approach here. This one is drilled, and actually this one's going to go out of bounds. And it did get beyond the 35-yard line because of where they marked it. That actually was a little bit of a stretch, but Hemelt put a good drive into it. And so Duval Charter, the Panthers, will take over at their own 35. They are down 35-6. We are midway through the third quarter, likely approaching the third quarter water break. Flashes have played incredibly well offensively over the course of the evening, and the defense has been even better. Only one score allowed, and they actually nearly made the tackle on a short gain, kind of an end-of-the-play breakaway, led to a 50-yard run after the catch touchdown for the Panthers, and that's really the only blemish, and they actually had that play stopped. So really, really impressed by this Flashes defense. They're doing a great job. Now, normally I would look to my right under these circumstances, and my co-host would have some thoughtful and insightful things to say, but he is actually down on the opposite end of the field doing some statistician work for the team, and because of the angle that we have, he can't really see how far things are and the like, so he's doing that. Offensively, the quarterback for the Panthers, Jeremy Darius, son of former Jacksonville Jaguars safety Donovan Darius, who is playing quarterback, takes this one on the keeper. Solid gain, picks up about 7, but a flag came out right at the end of the play. No official indication yet of which way the penalty is going to go. But that is going to be a hold against the Panthers, and this one is coming back. As they walk off the penalty, temperatures have finally dropped below the 90-degree mark. Actually saw for the very first time in one of these games a timeout for heat. And actually now we are going to get what I believe is the third quarter water break. So both teams head to the sideline for a little sip of water. I'm going to do the same. We'll be back in 30 seconds. All right, both teams are back out on the field now after the mid-quarter water break here in the third quarter. St. Joseph Academy Flashes lead Duval Charter 35-6. Things going incredibly well for St. Joe. After their most recent touchdown, they have kicked off to Duval Charter, who now has it 3rd down and long. There have been penalties, sacks, and the like. This run, it looks like Voorhees is going to go up the middle. Short gain on the play. We're going to double check the sticks here because there is a little discussion based on the penalty. And I don't have a good view if that's going to be 3rd down or 4th down. There is an injured Panther who is slowly walking off the field. That looks to be number 77, Jadiel Gonzalez. He is one of their big, powerful offensive linemen. He's grabbing that right hamstring, and he's actually not going to be able to make it all the way off the field. He is going to take a knee and another timeout on the field. So we're anticipating at least a minute here, so we will be back in just a minute. Welcome back to Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9 and the Flashes Digital Network. St. Joe leads this one 35-6 over the Duval Charter Panthers, who are coached by Aaron Beasley, Donovan Darius, and I believe Ben Coleman, also known as Big Sofa, a collection of former Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the snap to Jeremy Darius. Donovan's son, he goes, actually he's going to hand this one off to Voorhees, who goes up the middle for a short gain. And it's going to be, again, we were trying to determine before if it was 3rd or 4th down. Based on that run, it was 3rd down. And so now this is going to bring up a 4th down and long. Darius jogs back out onto the field. And they get into the huddle. No punt returner deep for the Flashes. So they are going for it. Or, and this is a possibility, it's only 3rd down. Flashes defense with 2 deep safeties here. High snap, handoff again, straight up the middle. That is going to be Voorhees once again. Alex Voorhees, relatively short gain. And now it is 4th down. So there you go. So it looks like the punt team is coming out onto the field for the Panthers. Jeremiah Kess is deep to return this one. Jeremiah with a huge offensive explosion. He was actually the Times Union Player of the Week last week after recording 6 catches and 198 yards to go along with 2 touchdowns. Also had an interception on the defensive side of the ball. He is your return man. Electric athlete. Looking for an opportunity here. Last punt went way over his head. This punt is going to be blocked. Max Grimes, Dominic Puntillo, and a few other guys are back there. I believe it was Grimes who actually got his arm on the football, and the Flashes are going to take over inside the 30-yard line, maybe inside the red zone itself. What a defensive performance by the Flashes. They are playing so incredibly well, suffocating on defense, and now doing the same on special teams. And now the Flashes offense is going to get another opportunity to add to what is a 35-6 lead. Ott in the backfield with Fox. Fox gets the handoff, and he goes straight up the middle. Solid gain there. We're losing perspective a little bit on how far they're actually carrying the football because of our vantage point. This really is a beautiful turf field, enjoying the friendly nature of the staff and the families that are out here. But the conditions for a broadcast are not ideal. We're on the sideline here at the 15-yard line. So for those of you who are watching this game on the Flashes Digital Network, you've got kind of a field-level view. It's almost like you had sideline passes for this game. And if you were here, you would have seen Cody Ott throw this one into the corner of the end zone. A flag comes out late. There might be a defensive pass interference call coming. The play was kind of out of frame here because as we turn, my view is blocked by the sideline and the team itself. So I can't fully report on what happened at the end of that play, but it does look like there's going to be a penalty here going against the Panthers. So the Flashes are going to have it. It looks like 1st and goal. Jack Titler split out wide to the right. Glisson and Kess are to the left. Ott takes the snap, looks left, fires this one to the corner of the end zone. That one is going to be caught but out of bounds. The official goes down on the ground. He is actually down on the track. I can see my co-host, Brian Ott, standing next to him. He's actually there with a number of players in the chain gang to actually help him up off the ground. But there is no signal. The Flashes coaches are signaling touchdown. But I believe he has been ruled to have been out of bounds. No score for the Flashes. They lead it right now 35-6. They are knocking on the door for yet another score. We are late in the third quarter here. Game got off to a little bit of a late start, originally scheduled for a 4:30 kick. Jack Fox runs over one of his own teammates and then now heads into the end zone for the score. Touchdown, Flashes. That one was almost too easy. Fox goes straight up the middle, and that is now going to put 41 points up on the board. It is 41-6. We are nearing that time where we will see a running clock. Typically that happens if the lead goes over 35, so I believe those will be the circumstances on the other side. Flashes are actually going to go for 2 here. The throw into the end zone is incomplete. Yep, incomplete. So it is going to be 41-6 for the Flashes. And here we go. So the lead would indicate that we're going to have a running clock. They are up by 35 points. So we are now in the third quarter. We are beyond the third quarter water break. So time may move a little more quickly here for both of these teams. I think the challenging part for us is there's no scoreboard. So I don't actually have a clock that I can work off of. So all I can tell you is we are beyond the water break in the third quarter, and under most rule circumstances, this would be a running clock situation. So the Flashes' lead is relatively secure because time will be limited for the opponent to make the comeback. The kick here from Hemelt goes out of bounds. This was an intentional move. They've actually been doing it throughout the evening. They made an organizational decision that they were going to be sending the kickoffs out of bounds throughout the ball game. That actually places the ball at the 35-yard line, and it yields no return. So that was the philosophical decision for the team, and so far it's worked. The one kickoff they actually had earlier in the game that was returned ended up being returned all the way out to midfield. So it actually was beneficial for the Flashes to continue with that approach. So here we are now. Teams are getting situated. The Panthers are making their way out to the field. Ball is set on the right hash mark at the 35. Flashes lead it 41-6. Panthers looking to get something going on offense. It has been a rough night for them. They really do have a couple of dynamic athletes. But as the insight that Brian got earlier from one of the assistant coaches who was kind enough to chat with us, these guys really love playing this game, and I hope that they continue to find success doing it. Just had a little unique play. There was a whistle. I'm not sure all the players heard the whistle. And now we've got an injured player. I believe that is Voorhees, the starting running back for the Panthers. There is an official timeout on the field. We are going to take a timeout here on, I want to say in the booth, but it's just on the sideline. You're listening to Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9. The Flashes lead it 41-6. The Flashes defense continues to shine. Jack Titler with the big play in the backfield. That is going to bring up 3rd down and long. Flashes defense has been impressive all night long. They lead it 41-6 here from Duval Charter High School. Flashes defense has now given up only 12 points in their first 3 contests. We are late in the third quarter. We believe at this point we are playing with a running clock. Once we went north of a 35-point margin. Haven't gotten the official notification from the officials, but we also haven't had them down in our area in some time. Flashes have had the ball and really have been moving well towards the south end zone. We are more towards the north end zone. Another run here for the Panthers. Flashes defense active and successful. Another big tackle in the backfield for St. Joe. It looks like number 17 came out of the bottom of that pile. That is Camden Schweizer on the tackle, the freshman defensive back. And that is going to bring up a 4th down, so the Panthers are going to punt. Jeremiah Kess is your punt returner. He is standing right at midfield. The dynamic punt returner looking to have a little bit of fun this evening. Listed as an athlete on the official roster. He plays wide receiver. He's a returner. He plays defensive back. He does it all. He stands just in front of midfield. The last punt was blocked. This one, they're able to get it away. Takes a big hop at the 40, now recovered at the 50. Kess sprints over to the left side. High steps his away from a man. Gets around the 40, now the 30. He is down the sideline, and look at him go. Cuts it back. He's got a chance to finish this one. He's got it. Touchdown, Flashes. Jeremiah Kess. Punt return touchdown. That is going to be 47 points on the board for St. Joe with the extra point to come. What a return. Weaved his way through the defense and he goes all the way in for the score. But there is a flag down on the field, and this one is coming back. What a heartbreaker there for Kess after a beautiful return. But unfortunately, this one is going to come all the way back. It looks like that block in the back occurred back around the 50-yard line. So that negates the punt return for a touchdown. My co-host Brian is jogging back towards me. He's grabbing the headset. Brian, I don't have the official count on how many touchdowns for Kess have been taken off the board this year, but it's at minimum 3, and it might be as many as 5.
You're right. I think the number is 3. We had 3 touchdowns offensively taken off the board in the first game alone, passing touchdowns, and I think 2 of them were to Kess. There's another one right there. I believe it was a blindside block, 15-yard personal foul, as opposed to a hold away from the ball. It's a good football block in the sense that you like to see the effort, but it was certainly something that ended up hurting a teammate, taking away points off the board, and a really dynamic play for Jeremiah.
So the Flashes lead this one 41-6. I believe we just saw the end of the third quarter. There is a running clock, so there does not appear to be a long quarter break coming. They're just going to get right to it. So this is the one time I can actually say, hey, there are 12 minutes on the clock, and we know that for a fact. But it is going to be a running clock, so things are going to start to move pretty rapidly here for the Flashes. Now, I see my co-host. He's got his hands on the headset. I think he might be getting ready to take off to run down the sideline here once again. We'll have to check the step counter to see how many steps he has actually logged throughout the night. There he goes. And now here goes Jack Fox straight up the middle, rumbling his way forward. He will pick up another first down, 12 yards for Jack Fox. He comes up out of the bottom of that pile. A powerful run straight up the middle. The Flashes offense continues to roll. They've got the big lead. It's 41-6. We are now in the fourth quarter with a running clock. A touchdown was just taken off the board at the end of the third quarter after a significant punt return for a touchdown, but there was a blindside block, and so now the Flashes offense is going to look to get another touchdown on the board. They give it to Jack Fox. Fox goes up the middle, across midfield, and he'll get down to around the 41-yard line. Had to get to the 40 for a first down, and actually, nope, they are signaling forward. He is to the 40-yard line, and that'll be a first down for St. Joe. Fox is kind of jogging to the sideline a little awkwardly. I think we've got a little bit of a cramp. Early on in the season, it's hot, it's humid, and these guys are dealing with so many different things. This game is unique because Duval Charter does not have light, so we actually kicked this game off around 4:45 in the afternoon. It was 90-plus degrees at kickoff. Right now, the sun is starting to drop below the trees. There is shade over the majority of the field, but somehow the sun is shining directly in my eyes as I try to broadcast this from the sideline here. But the temperature being as significant as it is, there was actually a heat timeout midway through the game. They brought both teams into the shade, and right now we've got our first player cramping up. We haven't seen a lot of cramps tonight. But Jack Fox just came off the field with what appears to be a cramp. He was kind of doing that straight-legged walk, jog thing. Looked similar to my co-host as he was making his way, trying to run in flip-flops down the track. Brian, we've been finding a lot of success tonight. This becomes an interesting drive. Cody Ott drops back to pass, throws it over the middle, and he's got Jeremiah Kess, makes the grab at the 22-yard line, a first down. And is that Jeremiah's first catch of the evening?
Remarkably, it is Jeremiah's first catch of the evening. Our leading receiver, he put up, as you mentioned before, 198 last week with, I believe, 2 touchdowns. He was number 3 in the state of Florida going into this game, and the first catch, I think they've been double covering all night long. A couple balls were thrown up to Jeremiah, but they were all contested.
So the Flashes have it at the 23-yard line. Back to pass. The throw. He's got Jack Titler in the end zone. Touchdown, Flashes. Jack Titler. That is going to be a 22-yard catch Touchdown for the senior. Last year, he was a defense-only guy. This year, he's getting some reps at the wide receiver position, and he made that rep count. Touchdown flashes. Ray Evans, who was the player of the first quarter, makes his way in front of the booth. What a great first quarter by that young man, but he has taken the last 3 quarters off, and I'm glad to see it. Clock is still running. Flashes are lining up for the extra point. And I'm just realizing as I head down, here is the kick. It is up, and it is good. And so that will be 48 points on the board. Now, here is a note for those of you who have been watching on the Flashes digital network. The scoreboard never changed from when we put 47 points on the board after the punt return. So that's on me. So that now becomes 48-6. A remarkably similar score to last week when the Flashes led 42-6 when the final whistle sounded. Here now, we've got a running clock. We don't know how much time we're going to have left. So, Brian, as we get ready to go on defense, just kind of summarize the evening from your perspective. Obviously, the Flashes have had a lot of success, but where do you think that success really came from?
I think it came from the ground, but, anytime you have success offensively, you've got to give credit to the offensive line. And we got Liam Ottens back, a freshman who, along with another freshman, Matthew McCulley, might be the 2 biggest bodies on the team. You've got Ricky Fernandez and Dominic Pentillo have been getting some mileage in there. Max Grimes, who along with the block punt on defense has been playing some tight end. I think he's gotten some work on the O-line as well. So always got to give credit to the big guys up front. But in 3 games so far, we had a big running game, then a big passing game, and now a big running game. And Jack Fox has been the bell cow. Jack, who had over 100 the first game and then a very quiet second game. I believe he's around 170 plus right now and really just running authoritatively. I think he's probably keeping up that 10 yards per carry average that he came into the game with.
170 for the season or 170 tonight?
For the game.
Is that a lot?
That's a pretty fair night for a high school football
player. Pretty good number indeed. I kid. Hebelt with the kickoff. Angles this one out of bounds at the 20-yard line. We have a running clock. We're late in the fourth quarter. The St. Joseph Academy Flashes lead the Duval Charter Panthers 48-6. We have a running clock. 12 minutes. I didn't get a chance. It's kind of hard to keep the time on your own watch as we work. But I imagine that we are heading into the final couple of minutes here. The Flashes have played incredibly well. The Panthers, you got a chance to see these guys last year. They certainly look improved, but still some opportunities for growth. A couple of really dynamic athletes have been impressed overall with Messiah Frazier. He had a couple of huge plays. Alex Voorhees really ran hard. And Jeremy Darius, the quarterback, he's made some nice throws. He's got kind of a unique throwing motion, but he's got a good arm. Unfortunately, threw an interception earlier.
Interesting thing happening on the field. All night long, the Flashes have been kicking out of bounds, and the Panthers have been taking the penalty. This time, interestingly, they're making them re-kick.
Interesting.
Good strategy for the kick out of bounds strategy. It'll be interesting to see if Adrian does it again with this big of a lead. I don't know how much we have to be afraid of.
Oh, Aaron Beasley makes the catch on the sideline, the former Jacksonville Jaguar. I don't think he'll get credit for a kickoff return. That was a line drive kick, went straight out of bounds. Beasley makes the grab in the breadbasket, and they're going to make him kick it again.
Well, hopefully someone is telling Adrian, okay, the gig is up. No more out-of-bounds kicks, because they could keep on marching it down 5 yards at a time. We certainly don't want that.
The clock is running. So every time we do this, another 20, 30 seconds comes off the clock. And I don't know if that's part of the strategy or if that's just an interesting byproduct of what's happening here. A battle of wills, it appears, between head coaches.
I bet it'll be a squib.
High end over end kick. out of bounds.
I'm gonna make a prediction.
And Aaron Beasley, I can see him from here. He's just waving them backwards. And apparently this game is going to end with a battle of the kickoffs.
Dr. Grimes, can you go down and tell Coach we probably need to kick it into play? Dr. Grimes is standing here. Team doctor is standing on the sideline in front of us, and he says he keeps seeing the signal again. Kick it out of bounds.
Clock continues to run. St. Joseph Academy leads it 48-6 over Duval Charter. Adrian Hemelt, they're kicking it out of bounds. I believe this is 4 in a row, potentially 5, where they continue to move back 5 yards and kick it again. Beasley laughing with Ben Coleman over there on the sidelines, along with Donovan Darius. And it is a little squibber of a kick. The Flashes have touched it before it goes 10 yards, so yet another flag. And now Aaron Beasley is waving his arms down the field, so it almost appears that they're going to accept the penalty. One of the referees is looking back at Beasley like, what? What do you mean?
Would be great field position for the Panthers if they were to take the end result of the play. I wonder,
but it's almost great theater at this point.
It is. How long could this go on? Because, as you get closer to the inside the 5-yard line, you don't go back into the end zone. You go to the 2.5, and then you go to the 1 1/4.
Little half the
you go
half
to
the distance
5/8.
to the goal gets complicated at that point. No, this time they are going to actually take the football, and I guess big picture, it worked out because they're now going to take possession of the football inside the 30-yard line after, I'm going to say, 6 kickoff attempts, all resulting in flags and all eventually moving back 5 yards. So now Jeremy Darius takes the shotgun snap, fires it to the outside. That's going to be caught by Denzel McClellan, and he is going to be brought down. He's excited about the catch, though. Flips the ball over to the official. Oh, what an interesting night this has been. The St. Joseph Academy Flashes, the offense has been spectacular. They put 48 points on the board. The defense has been impressive for the 3rd week in a row. They have now only given up 12 points on the season in the waning moments of the 4th quarter. The Panthers are in the red zone, so we'll see if they're able to put some points on the board before we wrap this ball game up. But with this running clock and no scoreboard to see, it's hard for me to report officially on what kind of time we really have. But everybody's taking their time as they go. Looks like Samai Crooms is the running back in the backfield along with Darius. Darius, another high snap, quick throw to the outside, and that one is going to be incomplete. I'm going to take a moment to say thank you to our producer back in the studio, Kathy Sherwood, station manager at WSOS 103.9, Kevin Gettings. And then, of course, there is our on-site crew. We've got Brian Ott, who has been our kind of on-again, off-again color analyst. And then checking in late in the ball game, want to give credit to St. Joe student Zach Anderson, who is actually manning the cameras for the digital network crew here late in the second half. So big shout out and thank you to Zach for his hard work. He's been taking pictures throughout the evening and is now taken over as videographer. Samai Crooms with the run up the middle. Not much doing there. 3rd down and long for the Panthers. And I'm almost shocked that this game is even still going. The head official just put his hands up and stopped the clock for some reason, and now he winds the clock again. It's just after. Sorry, just checking on something here. Yeah, they're going to come to the line. They're still playing. I thought for a second he was going to signal the end of this ball game, but we continue to go. Panthers are going to look to get themselves on the board before the conclusion. Oh, the snap goes through the hands of Darius. He's got to race all the way back to the 40-yard line, jumps on the football, And that's going to be a sack for the Flashes and a huge loss for the Panthers. Seeing some liberal substitutions over there on the sideline. Looks like David Astacio has just checked into the ballgame. The 5'10", 227-pound junior defensive lineman comes on at the end. Flash's defense looking to preserve this 6-point output for tonight. Of course, the Panthers want to try to put one more score on the board if they can. Number 7, Messiah Dillard is split out wide to the right. 81, Jothan Geiger is out to the left. Darius rolls out, throws this one across his body, intercepted by Calvin Schilling. He's off to the races. He's across midfield. He's got a man who's going to chase him down, tackles him inside the 30. Schilling with a second interception on the evening and a long, impressive return. He comes up hobbling just a little bit. He gets tackled from behind. Calvin Schilling, the man from Minnesota, with the interception and the big return. And the Flash's offense will head back out onto the field for what I have to imagine is going to be the final drive of the night. Flash's offense is hustling out on the field. They have been talking about trying to get a couple of snaps for Ollie Brinteson at quarterback. And it appears that he is going to be the man here in these final moments. He is chatting on the sideline, and now he takes the field. Ollie Brinteson jogs out into the huddle. This will be his second appearance as a quarterback for the St. Joseph Academy Flashes. He got a little time in the second game, had a nice throw. You've got a little experience with Ollie as a 7-on-7 flag football quarterback. He is going to hand this one off to Jack Fox. Fox with the stiff arm barrels his way inside the 20. Flashes will have it inside the red zone. Clock continues to wind. We are late in the fourth quarter. The Flashes lead it 48-6. Brian, I have to imagine we're going to be off the air in the not-too-distant future. Any final thoughts for you on what we saw tonight?
Well, we knew coming in that the Flashes were going to have a good shot at going 3-0, and we're going to come out decisively winning all three of our games.
Jack Fox goes up the middle, and he barrels his way into the end zone. An 18-yard gain and a touchdown for St. Joe, closing in on 200 yards for Fox. And that is going to be how many touchdowns on the night?
So I think that puts him over 200. That was his third rushing touchdown, and I think he's got 200 and a small amount of change. Great job for the Flashes. As we look ahead, we've got a little bit of an unknown in the next game. The team that we play is not a team that we've played, at least in recent memory. They were undefeated starting tonight. Now, of course, they have a game tonight, so we're not sure what lies ahead. That's Old Plank Christian Academy. I believe that's going to be a home game. They won their opening game 28-10. They were 6-7 last year. Keep in mind the Flashes were a 3-win team last year, so we'll have to see how they did tonight in their action, and maybe we'll have a game at home next week and face the first stiffer challenge for the Flashes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the ball game. The final score: the St. Joseph Academy Flashes 54, the Duval Charter Panthers 6. A big win for the Flashes. We've enjoyed getting a chance to broadcast this game live from Duval Charter here in Jacksonville, Florida. A couple of really impressive performances by the Flashes offense. Another great performance by the Flashes defense. The cheerleaders are about to sprint by to join this end of the game line. What a great night it has been. Another great Friday Night Lights. Big thanks, as always, to Kathy Sherwood and Kevin Gettings. Thanks to Zach for his help tonight. And on behalf of my co-host, Brian, I am Todd. And that is the end of the Friday Night Lights broadcast tonight. Thanks for being along with us. Go Flashes.